showtime.
Good morning, Vietnam! Welcome to the party, pal!
See you at the party, Richter!
I didn't kill my wife! I don't care!
Get away from her, you bitch!
I'll be back.
I'll be back.
You did not going to say that, did you? What I do have are a very particular set of skills.
To do the binds.
I'm not bad. I'm just drawn that way.
Inconceivable!
Little Dallas multipass.
This is a tasty burger.
Please.
Want to hear the most annoying sound in the world?
Do or do not. There is no try.
Dead or alive, you are coming with me.
I'm the bad guy?
And Hulk, smash.
I can speak with an English accent.
Hit the hash pipe and join the National Guard. I could be elected president.
You went over my helmet?
What would you prefer? Yellow spandex? I know, right?
The list is in the open!
Hey, where are the white women at?
They're digging in the wrong place.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
Are you not entertained?
Second start of the ride. And straight on till morning.
Meow.
You son of a bitch.
21 gigawatts!
Wax on, wax off.
Oh my goodness, I am sporting a tremendous Woody right now.
Bartender is the aristocrat of the working class.
You want to flip 6-3 whole play and you can score.
Cover me.
Dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria. On this team, we fight for that itch.
It might be a tumor.
It's not a tumor.
No ticket.
No ticket.
I get older, they stay the same age.
It's not what you know, it's what you can prove.
I'm a dude playing a dude disguised as another dude. He's 15.
I ate his liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti.
Hope is a good thing, maybe the best of things, and no good thing ever dies.
And I forgot to put us up.
There you go.
Good evening, and welcome to the Reel McCoy version 2025. Unbelievable. I'm your host, Meffistoe, and always with me, my hetero life mate, Oh My Feelings. How are you, sir?
I'm pretty good, buddy. I like it. I like it.
You like it?
Yeah.
You hate it.
No, I do. I actually like it.
Great. Awesome. What is the Reel McCoy, you might ask? The Reel McCoy podcast is where we watch a movie. Well, I see. I've totally blew it.
Wow. Starting out the new year with a flub.
With a flub.
There's my buddy.
Is where we ask you to go watch a movie, watch it, come back to us, and we break it down for you. We spin it all around. Here we go. There we go. Okay, so a new year, a new paint job on the old logo. That's a new working logo for 2025. It'll probably still be here in 2026. We don't know. We absolutely don't know. I never know what's happening. I wanted to do other spick and span stuff, but nothing quite panned out the way I wanted it to. That's why it's not on. That's the only issue. However, I might revamp a few things during the year, depending on time, space, and the almighty Lord and Savior, whoever it is. So, start off a new year. And January, traditionally, it's now been tradition because we have done this for over 3 years now.
This will be the fourth year. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna finish up. Yeah, and so January is traditionally your birthday month movie thingy. Now, normally we don't really have a theme for this month, but we kind of do have a theme for this month.
A little bit.
Because this month is all about movies that All My Feelings really enjoyed in the past. And we kind of skipped them over because they didn't quite fit with any other
we couldn't fit in a
themely
theme.
month.
No,
right?
We couldn't fit them in. Yeah.
Yeah, so we kind of gathered them all together. And this time around, I picked them, which is weird because last year I picked stuff that you don't really want to watch. But this time I I picked to your taste. So it's going to be a very eclectic month. And if you've been following us for a very long time, like Paul Harley, you might even guess a few of these movies just because we kind of like
talk about them a lot,
but we haven't talked about them.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I remember that. That was a good one. This is better than this one. Remember, it always comes up during, Cinema Deathmatch. The late great Cinema Deathmatch, Screen Fighter for all intents and purposes.
We don't talk about Cinema Deathmatch because it makes me sad.
Yeah, I know.
It's still such a better name.
I know. It's a better name, but YouTube. YouTube's been a bitch. Anyway, thank you. Before we actually do start, thank you very much to Culture Casino and the Culture Casino crew, or the Culturians. I know that he finished his show about a couple of hours ago, and then he redirected here because the Salty Nerd podcast crew is taking a hiatus for a few weeks. This is their last week of hiatus. Next week they're going to come back. So if you want to watch something before we do, and between Culture and us, Salty Nerd podcast is where you should go.
Definitely.
Now, with all that aside, welcome everybody, because tonight is a very special night, or today, or whatever, because we are covering Oldboy. Now, I don't mean, if you know Oldboy from the Josh Brolin as Elizabeth Olsen version.
Please don't watch that movie. Please don't.
Unless you're me and you've watched it.
I have seen it, obviously.
Yes.
Don't.
But for all intents and purposes, the original one, the 2003 Oldboy, is what we're talking about today. There are differences here and there. We might bring those up a little bit. It's mostly the ending that is different.
The ending
in
is
a
different,
way.
and it's also different from the source material, which we'll get into.
Oh yeah. And we'll just clear by and say hello to the chat. We'll say hello to Terry Rose, Lord Thoth. Griffin is here. Juliet, welcome. Paul Harley, Commander-in-Chief. And of course, over on Rumble, No Bulls Games, or No Bull Games. Let me bring it up again. Hey guys, Oldboy, the original over Hollywood remake all day. Love missing marquee quiz. That is coming up. Don't worry. For all you guys out there who kind of tangentially discovered, I recently saw a lot of not a uptick, but sort of people are going back over the years and watching them, because I seen one view on this episode that was 2.5 years ago. Click here, click there, and people are leaving comments, which is excellent. I love that. I read everything I can read. I'm privileged enough to be a small channel that I can actually read a ton of comments and react to anything that needs to be reacted to. I read them all. And we'll say hello to, I'm going to butcher that name, Cavitano, Cavalry Che, or Che. Welcome. Okay. So, you mentioned there's...
I was going to say, also, by the way, as we are going to be talking about Oldboy, just so you know, we are going to utterly butcher not only the actors' names, but the character names. I'm sorry, my Korean is terrible.
Yeah, it's so weird. I thought Japanese is awful to pronounce.
No, Japanese is actually very easy. Japanese is basically, it's phonetic. It's very easy. Korean's very difficult. Same with Cantonese, where there's a lot of intonations are involved, where it's I'm gonna get this wrong.
The main character is Dae-soo or Deo-soo.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So you mentioned the source material, like I said. So it's time to dive deeper into the guts of the whole matter in a little segment we call Behind the Screen.
Sound production, take 2.
All right, behind the scenes or screens is where we go to All My Feelings, get the lowdown on everything that is behind the scenes. Take it away, dude. I will
First
try
and-
to help with my very, very small
that's
notes
fine.
that I have. Yeah.
I've got some other things that are interspersed later in
Okay.
notes for when we talk about the film, but a lot of stuff is going to come on the forefront.
Okay.
First and foremost, only a $3 million budget, which was good for the director at the time, but it did overall 17.1 million gross. So it did good return on investment. In fact, this was the best out of the first his 3 films of his revenge trilogy that did the best overall.
Okay.
Even though Miss Revenge did well, and not as well as Oldboy. So one of the most really important bits is that it's based off of actually a manga.
Yeah.
By is it Nobunaki Migashigi and Garon Tsushita, and essentially the only major differences are just the causation of his imprisonment, and also the length of time also is different. It's a shorter period of time in the manga, and also there is a little bit more it's a little bit more hyper violent than the film is, which you'd think, wow, the film is already hyper violent.
I mean, the manga tend to be a little bit crazy, right? I don't read a lot of manga, but whatever manga or anime that I do get to watch, my daughter is super into anime right now, so it is, violence is a thing.
Well, if you want more anime recommendations for the little one, let me know. I'll child appropriate ones, obviously.
As she is going through, she's going through whatever we have on Netflix at the moment. Some stuff are she passes through, and some stuff she's got. Her birthday present is the full box set of Demon Slayer, the manga version.
Oh, that's a pretty good gift.
Yep.
We'll talk later. we'll talk later. Anyway, so another major inspiration actually came directly from the Count of Monte Cristo.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Which they actually do mention when Evergreen is speaking with Mido.
Yeah, it's a little bit later in the movie, but yeah, I get it.
Yeah, and so what's really really cool is the entire score is comprised of tracks, and if you look at the actual listing of them, they're all it's pretty much 90% of the entire score is named after certain film titles, and of those, the majority are all film noirs.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it's really really cool the way the composer did that.
The one thing I did notice is the fact that a lot of it is, I thought it was like taking classical music and infusing it with the movie rather than a full-on score. Was it original score? I thought I recognized a lot of classical music.
Well, the majority actually were, but they were subtle stings that were included in, like,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we get our particular character. We have Odesse, which obviously played by the phenomenal Choi Min-sik, who we've already seen in another revenge film that we've covered before.
Yeah, I saw The Devil. By the way, check that out.
Yes,
check that out.
Fantastic. Which was
it was a great episode.
Also distributed internationally by Neon, who also distributed this film.
Yeah, but you would expect that, especially of that era. This one is 2003. I saw The Devil is 2010, or it came out internationally 2010.
What's interesting though is if you look at Neon's catalog, the majority of there are really dark K-dramas or Korean revenge films that they distributed mostly.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's like they had their niche in their market.
Yeah, a niche, a speciality. Yeah.
So speaking of Mr. Min-sik, he lost 20 pounds, then regained that during different shooting. So he fluctuated his weight during the entire session of actually filming the film. Like, he did so much work on his body that it makes Christian Bale's working The Machinist. Like, dude, yeah, you lost a lot of weight, but you didn't fluctuate over 20 pounds.
It's more like the Joker rather than the Machinist, I would say, to be honest.
That's fair. So what's interesting too is, speaking of our titular main character, his name is originally was based off of Oedipus.
Dae-soo, is it? How did they get to Oedipus?
Dae-soo is it's how they would actually translate into Korean. It's almost verbatim to Oedipus.
Oh, wow. Foreshadowing.
Yeah.
I like that.
There's a lot of foreshadowing in this too. They're like they set up so much in it. I love the fact that Cavatino mentioned this. During the sushi bar scene, 4 live octopi had to be consumed.
Which, to be perfectly fair, I knew about the sort of obsession / thing that the Koreans have with live octopus. However, not quite in the very graphic nature in which it was portrayed in that particular scene.
Yeah.
It's much more of a have to cut the tentacles and then serving the tentacles.
Correct.
Live, rather than the full body. I don't think they eat the full body just like that, but okay.
Not exactly like that.
No, not exactly like that. No.
But that actually caused a scandal, even though that's a traditional dish in Korea. That's how they would serve live octopi. That's how they serve it. So during the speech, the director actually not only thanked his cast and crew, but the octopeds who gave their life.
Okay. Koreans are weird, dude.
I know. What's really funny too is because obviously taking the piss, but obviously, too, Choi Min-sik, he's a Buddhist, so he would pray after every take because he had taken a life.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Which you think Choi Min-sik? I've seen him in roles where that dude can't be a Buddhist, right?
Well, he is playing a role. He's not.
Unless
him.
maybe he's a super method.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Anyway, so one of the funny things is this script initially called for full frontal nudity for not only Mido but also Odesu. But Park actually changed it after the initial scenes were shot because he thought it was too graphic.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I know Japan has an issue with lower parts, okay? And I don't mean just corn. I mean, generally speaking, they have an issue with lower parts showing.
Yes.
I think Koreans have it, but it's a different thing.
It's on a different level than in the Japanese culture. It's always blurred because it's but it's kind of on the same level, but it's not as severe as it is in Japan.
To be fair, I didn't expect any full frontal. I expected a little bit of nudity because of just the subject matter. Plus, I've seen the American Oldboy first, which, to be fair, it really tainted the Korean Oldboy, the reveal.
Oh yeah,
it really tainted my view of the movie. I was always waiting for the shoe to drop, and when it dropped, it felt hollow.
It didn't
a little
hit.
Bit.
Yeah. That's why definitely watch this one. Don't watch the American version, and also the American version. The American version is so bad about any kind of subtlety whatsoever because you get it immediately.
It's yeah, and it's the way they introduced the. We'll talk about it. We'll keep going if we have anything else.
Oh, we've got a lot. So the corridor fight scene took almost 17 days to film.
Wow.
Because Park was insistent that it be one fluid, continuous shot. And they cannot deviate from that shot.
I was gonna say, how did they edit that thing? Because it looked
they didn't.
Yeah. Okay,
The
I get it.
only edit that's in it is the CGI knife, which if you know it's CGI, you can't unsee it because it looks fake as shit.
I did notice this fake CGI one.
Yeah.
It's
It
fine.
looks a little bad now.
It's fine. It doesn't take away. It's like watching 70s special effects. It really doesn't bother me that much.
Now, one thing that's very different from the American version and the actual original is the ending of this version, the Korean version of Oldboy. It's left completely open. It's utterly ambiguous because we don't know what actual is really going on inside Dae-soo's head. Because if you look at the end of it, like he's smiling, but he almost grimaces. So is he repressing the fact that did the hypnotism actually work on him, or is he just repressing that fact to not make Mido upset?
We'll get to that at the end.
Yeah. So that's what's good. See, with the American version, it's very clear. It's cut and dry. They take all completely like narrative importance out of the entire film. That's why it's terrible. Speaking of, the final scenes were actually shot in New Zealand.
Oh, the hypnotism snow thing?
Yeah.
Why in New Zealand? Why all that way?
Why? Because the director had been there before and found the audio cues in there with the wind blowing over the mountains so beautiful that he wanted that for the Korean audience. And you get that at the very end when they're together. The shot when the music closes out, you hear the wind blow, and that's the actual sound coming off the mountains.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Really,
really
cool.
Plus, it wasn't in that era where New Zealand was the hot ticket after Lord of the Rings, so I'm guessing
it was kind of like right on the cusp of that because it was 2003, so it's it was right there. I think they were shooting in 2002, so it's right there. So little fun facts about some certain scenes. The number which is supposed to go to Dae-soo's foster parents, Mido's, was quote unquote shut down, if you call it.
Okay.
And the redirection number goes to the Korean embassy.
So if people would call for real?
Yeah, the number that they give to call is the Korean embassy.
Okay.
That's a cool
Stockholm.
Note. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So the restaurant Mido works at is called the Mediterranean, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, Park actually wanted to call it Akira.
Ooh.
Not in reference to the film, but in reference to Akira Kurosawa, who was one of his major inspirations.
Okay, I see it. I see it. I thought, how does Akira tie into this? But except for maybe the revenge thing?
No.
Not really?
No.
Okay.
Well, one of his major inspirations, obviously, the Tale of the Ronin.
What? You're just throwing that out there as if I know what you're talking about.
The 47 Ronin.
A 47 Ronin. Okay.
Yeah.
You lost me for 20 seconds. 47 Ronin. I got it now.
So other things about just obviously, again, setup and payoffs in their own way. When in the flashback scene where Dae-soo meets Lee Soo-oh, the girl, and the girl who
the sister
herself?
of, yeah.
Yeah. Note that she's reading a book by Sylvia Plath.
I didn't.
Who notably killed herself.
I didn't, but yeah, foreshadowing, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I got it.
So, one fun note in there that was included was the school anthem in the film.
Yes.
That they play for the high school there, for the Green Boys, is actually the school theme of the school that Choi Min-sik went to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Fun little interpersonal tie.
Interesting. Okay. Anything else, or
So from there,
intersperse?
it's into interspersing. So
Okay. I got one that I found interesting, but I'm gonna keep it because I'm pretty sure you have it, and you're waiting for the scene to come up.
Yeah.
But we'll all right. We'll just start.
Well, we
moving
can
in.
start off with the first bit is obviously the drunken behavior was just completely and totally ad-libbed in the first scene.
Oh, okay. We can
So after when he saves the suicidal man by holding his tie up.
Yeah, I love the fact that he was so drunk he started to pee in the corner, and they pull him up, and he continued on, but then he went back into the corner and tried to pee again. I audibly laughed. I was like, "Oh, that's funny."
Yeah. So they actually shot over 40 minutes of ad-lib footage of Choi Min-sik being drunk, of being quote unquote drunk. He wasn't actually drunk, obviously, but
yeah. But one of the things that kind of is a setup and a payoff later is his friend coming in and sort of
that was Ju Huang,
bailing him out just to introduce the character, which later on comes in as he's trying to figure out what's going on, and the fact that he's calling home and like, okay, I'm gonna get my daughter her birthday present, even though I'm completely and over it, like I'm drunk to shit. And then it cuts to the fact that I think it was in the news as he was waking up, or while he was incarcerated, you hear it on the news that he is wanted for killing his wife. And well,
and also
whatever.
the wings. The gift, because the wings they end up showing up later, because obviously it was Ji-woo who actually kidnapped him and who got him incarcerated for 15 years, but he actually saved those in order to give them to her as a final like gift to the climax. Like, this film's so great. And one thing I do love is his accent there at the end. This little affectation and snide remark. He says that the cops are "Oh, sir, no, you don't have to come back and see us." Well, that's up to you, assholes.
Yeah. So, and then of course he sort of cut to him being incarcerated, and he doesn't know what's going on, and he just wants a reason. He's like, "Oh, I've been here for a few days. Could you let me know why am I incarcerated? Why am I in jail?"
No, like, it's been 2 months, or has it been 3 months? Because that's what he's asking, because he's starting to lose track of time already.
Yeah.
And again, time is definitely one of the major motifs of the film. Like the cinematographer and the editor did such great work with even the credits themselves, with the text ticking like a clock.
Yeah, it's even it's is it in the credits as well, right?
It's in the credits, yeah.
Yeah, it's at the starting credits.
Yep.
But then all the transitions are with some sort of time moving of sorts. When he gets the ultimatum, then it's not a clock. It looks like a clock, but it's actually the dates. So it's July 1st, 2nd, then July 3rd, 4th, and 5th, and all that stuff. Yeah, just to show you the passage of time. Another thing that it kind of is a motif that started, kind of vanished, and then reappeared later is the whole fact that he sees ants crawling on his skin.
Yeah, the ants in the sense of loneliness. Yeah, that's also a Korean ideology.
Okay,
so
because to me, ants crawling under your skin is an addict kind of a imagery or a metaphor rather than a loneliness metaphor.
Mm-hmm.
They do kind of, when he meets with the girl, his daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She kind of
spoilers, Meth.
Well, duh, you had to watch the movie.
Just mess with you, buddy.
The whole point is she kind of explains that and explains the metaphor to us as she is talking to him, and we as audience, if we're not Korean, that whole set of metaphors is explained to us without actually saying this is a metaphor. Okay, understand. Ants are sort of a colony. They're all group up together, so that means people. Ants are people together. If you see a lonely ant, she is really alone.
Yep.
That's the whole point. And she says she sometimes sees ants, but not really.
There was the subway scene.
That subway scene
kind of
where
the
she
most
sees
pertinent bit.
Yeah, a big ant.
One thing I did want to mention real quick is the painting on the wall that has the actual statement in it. It's the quote, "Laugh and the world laughs with you, weep and you weep alone."
Okay.
That's actually a line from the Ella Wilcox poem "Solitude."
Yeah. So you're saying that whoever wrote this knew what he was doing?
Yeah, and the painting of the man that it's written on is a version of "The Man of Sorrow" by James Ensor. So it's all just again metaphor after metaphor after metaphor after metaphor.
I hate to bring in a certain someone that I got accustomed to listening to lately, but yeah, it's metaphor, double entendres over whatever. I like it. I absolutely love it. Plus, it actually requires me to go back and rewatch the movie if it's that sort of, it has that extra meaning and extra layer to it. It keeps it, it's like uncovering Easter eggs without actually having Easter eggs in there. It's just extra little bits in it that the person who constructed the movie actually cared about what is on screen or what you hear or what is,
it's also
all that visual medium thing. Yeah.
It's also saying more to the thought that Woo Jin actually put into his cell, his confinement, especially when he gets the 3 chopsticks, where he thinks, oh, one person's missing a chopstick. No, it was set up for him to try to escape. It was all Woo Jin fucking with his head.
Yeah, and that's the whole point for me is because I watched the American version first and I didn't quite like it. All the story beats are there, and it kind of tainted the watch of this one where I knew the 3 chopsticks were not there to think, oh, somebody didn't get it. It's like, dude, the one thing I had criticism for in both versions is the fact that the main character doesn't realize that he's being watched the entire time. So there is no way for the people who keep them there
to not know what they're doing.
No, he's trying to escape. Yeah. So essentially, it's not really Count of Monte Cristo because everything that he does is controlled, including the escape plan.
Yeah.
Which I found very interesting if you're trying to tell sort of this is like Count Monte Cristo, but it's not really because there's so much going on behind the scenes and you get to find out closer to the end. Not really at the end, but closer to the end of the movie, which the one thing they do set up is the fact that he is fighting a wall, and then later on when the action and the actual action bits start.
And the side note,
it's like,
why did he have to draw pubes and a little dick on his little fighter dude? Why, buddy?
Interesting, I guess. That's one aspect of his confinement is the fact that he's literally hitting the wall to a bloody pulp, and later on, and it's super subtle, and you only see it almost at the very end when he's with the rich guy, the incarcerator guy, and he's on the floor and he's acting like a dog, and then you see his knuckles. They actually.
Oh no, you can see them actually in multiple shots throughout the film.
I've only seen it like at the very end.
Because you can see the scar tissue on all over his knuckles, especially like even the first time when he beats up those the punks outside the street. Like, I'm wondering if my practice actually will work. Well, I watched it with the Korean on, and I was trying to do the translation, which again, my Korean's still really kind of shoddy.
I've watched it with. I actually watched this dubbed because I watched Squid Games dubbed. To my detriment, I know the not dubbed version is better because I've seen both sides.
Yeah, I always watch stuff with subs. Always.
I try to watch. I did. You see the version I have here is the subbed version.
Yeah.
The fact of the matter is, it was too fast for me to read.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
There's a certain point where it's too fast. Now, if it's too fast, I'm losing my point. So I would rather listen to the lesser version with English and understand everything, and then go back and watch the subbed version and not the dubbed version.
Oh, that's fair.
I know it's a bit of a sin, and I know I personally prefer subs versus dubs, but this time around I really needed to listen to the story, and especially when he goes into, because you mentioned this, it's a very, very noir film where you hear the inner monologue all the time, his inner way of thinking of what's going on and what is happening. And Becky, I don't know when you joined us. I really want you to go and watch this movie and then watch this show. I would rather lose a viewer and you enjoying this movie and spoiling everything, because we're going back and forth and really spoiling everything. So I don't know what you've heard so far, but I really hope it didn't taint your viewing pleasure, because it is very worth watching. Jumping back in, before we do our first game, before we do Missing Marquee, is the other aspect. One is the fighting, and the other one is sex, which he doesn't get to watch porn on the TV. So whenever he sees people dancing, or especially women dancing, he tries to get off, but he can't do it. So he's basically repressed for about 15 years.
Because that's why when he writes about the song, and Mido mentions the song, like, when I sing the song, that means that it's time to go. Even though she said, like, even though I may be crying, or maybe though I'm maybe stressed, which, surprise alert, yeah, she's very stressed and very, very much sobbing.
Yeah. And like I said, it's the two things that are consuming his mind, and there is another consumption going on, but we'll talk about it after the first game. Okay? First game is, of course, Missing Marquee. Missing Marquee, for the uninitiated, is where I don't have the first. Not that it's super hard, but Missing Marquee is where we take 10 posters of movies, have their text written off, we display them, and chat will have to guess which movie this is, because Oh My Feelings knows every single one of these movies. Maybe not all of them, but chat, come on, you've seen the first one. Just let us have it. Let us have it.
Actually, this is what the first film that we reviewed of a new year, was it 3 years ago?
Yep. I found it interesting because it's random. Everything is super random. It is not You've Got Mail. No, that
You've
is
Got Mail.
not.
That's Tom Hanks.
That is Tom Hanks. That's is
Paul's
Billy
got it.
Crystal. This is When Harry Met Sally. Actually, a great New Year's Eve movie.
Yeah. Why did they have to make a series about this? Ugh.
What do you mean? There is no series.
Well, not anymore. They deleted it. They actually, it was so bad they just nuked it from orbit.
Paul's got it again.
Willow.
Willow. It's because Jay's not here.
Yeah.
I found this very fitting. Very fitting.
It's a great fucking movie too.
Yeah.
We need to do a Denzel month at some point in time.
Pop culture minefield. It's probably Gary. Yes,
Yeah.
it is a fiction. At the moment, it is
It's
a fiction.
fan fiction, yes.
Yeah. Paul again, Man on
Fire.
Fire. You know this one?
Oh, I hate you so much right now.
Come on, guys. This is a little bit difficult.
This movie's
Because
awful, by the way.
People just don't remember this movie ever existed. Let's just say it keeps with the New York theme of the first poster, but nobody knows. This is, of course, Feelings.
I can't. Is it Manhattan in autumn?
It is Autumn in New York.
York. Yeah, that's what it was. I still love this one, man. I'm so glad we finally got to cover this film because I love this movie.
Yeah. It's fun, though. You should both join us after the show. We're talking about FX 1986. I've not seen that movie in a long while.
That'd be a lot of fun. That would be a lot of fun.
This is, of course...
Yep. Cav's got it.
Catch Me If You Can. Yeah, there we go.
Well, I just watched this on Sunday. I told you about it too. And Brains was like, I forgot how much I like this movie. I'm like,
you sent me a message. Yeah, you sent me a message like, dude, I've just watched this, and this with Rain and some other guys, and was like, oh, I had a really good time watching this.
Yeah.
This is a crazy movie, and you know what? After we covered it, I love it even more.
I
didn't used to love it. I love it even more because Johnny Depp is really good at it. He is really
He's
good at it.
the perfect Hunter S. Thompson. He is.
He is.
Way better than
guys?
Bill Murray, I know, which is some people think that's blasphemy, but no. Depp did Hunter better than anyone else ever could have.
This is, of course,
Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Now, this one is tough. I know you know what this is. There we go.
Yeah. It's not a bad one. It's not a good one.
It's not a good one. It's an okay one. Stalag 17 is correct.
Oh no.
You don't like this movie, do you?
No, I hate
talked
this
about
movie. It's so bad.
I told you, like, it's fine. It's not one of my favorite. I would watch Stitches over this.
Yes, Stitches is a lot.
Stupid
Stitches
movie.
is fucking fun though.
Stigmata is correct. Now, this movie is dumb. And
I love
hate
it when
that
a plan comes together. Apparently,
Yes, I hate.
the Hollywood Media Corporation who made this film did not think there was a good plan because, oh God.
I mean, the tank thing alone was a scene to behold that I cannot believe that they actually did that.
Yeah.
Kalikioki, it is the 18. Correct. Last one. This one is a blast from the past. This is 1979. Not well received movie.
Oh, I know what it is. Okay.
Mm-hmm. The proof is in the middle of the pudding. We'll call it that.
Yeah. Paul's got it.
Paul's got it. It is Black Hole. That is a movie I need to rewatch. That is a movie
I was going to say, like, hey, does anybody like Soundgarden?
Yeah. Not really Black Hole Sun.
But hey, yeah, close enough.
Close enough. Has really interesting ideas in it, but not well executed. We'll call it that.
Now, Cavatino is absolutely correct there. The Losers was a better movie than the A-Team film. Definitely.
Okay. All right, cool. So
Henry Dean Morgan was the leader of the Losers, right? Yeah, I think. Yeah.
okay. Next,
comic book film that you don't remember. I know, it's okay.
yeah, I have no idea. It's really hard for me to keep up with everything. I tried to go back to the list of just the movies that were on this year. It's a massive list of movies that I didn't watch. Still haven't watched Nosferatu. Don't tell me how it ends.
It's so fucking good. Oh.
I heard it's good.
Eggers is knocking it out of the park again.
Do you remember what I told you on the specific way in which I'm going to watch this? I haven't even started. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep. Yeah. I got you.
There were issues, like not with the movie, life issues.
Yep. I know.
Okay. So he kind of maybe sort of like there's that moment where he pushes one brick and he feels the rain outside and he's like, wait a minute. If we're like 50 floors up, I may like escape and immediately die.
Well, I may die, but
I'll
take that. But if not, either way, I'll be out in 1 month. I'll be out in 1 month. I'll be out in 1 month. That's his mantra.
Yeah, and it was so depressing.
In so many ways, though, I was thinking about it and the way that he tried to cover it up. I'm like, Meph is going to love this version because it's way better than the American version because it's almost a little Shawshank-esque.
It is in a way where he's so... At one point, he gets so determined on getting the hell out of there. He is, like I said, he is not even thinking of the fact that he's being watched all the time. All the time. So he gets out there and it kind of feels like he's in a field, but then when it kind of pans down and goes into ground level, you see, it's just like on top of a building. And if I'm not mistaken, I haven't seen the American version in a while. He is in a field, right? When they release him. No? He's also
on
in a building?
He's on a garden top. Oh, no. Sorry. No, in the American version, he is in a field. Yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah. In the American version, he's actually in a field.
In a field, yeah. Well, because they couldn't do that because they don't do that in America.
James is like, take his word for it. Nosferatu is a masterpiece. Yeah. I've heard that from numerous people.
So damn good.
Numerous people. And this harkens back to sort of like the whole movie starts with the scene that is happening here where the guy is on the brink of self-deletion and he has been technically saved from the brink.
Yeah.
But then when Deosu tells him his story and the guy wants to tell his story in order to maybe seek some comfort and all that stuff, he doesn't get to tell the story because Deosu just leaves.
And what's interesting too is the fact that he actually steals the line that gets him his potential salvation again, because the end is completely ambiguous of the line that gets the hypnotist to convince her to actually hypnotize him again, which is I may be a beast, but do I not deserve to live?
Yeah, and sort of it's sort of a setup and a payoff in a way, but also a foreshadowing to what's to come. And I do like that. And that's why when people mention movies are like, oh, this is a masterpiece, oh, this is a fantastic movie, it's those collections of little moments that are, I want to call them smart in a way that the creator of the movie doesn't pander to your sensibilities or think less of you or goes to your level in order to make a metaphor or an imagery or tell you a story. He just tells you the story that on the surface level you can get. But if you're going to go deep down into the murky waters, you'll find him there with some great stuff.
and again, I think that's what really great filmmakers do is we've talked about this to death, but it is always the concept of show, don't tell. And this is exactly what Park does throughout his revenge trilogy. Both of the other films in his trilogy are fantastic films too. So definitely go give those a watch. But then I do the fact that he steals the lady's sunglasses.
Yeah.
And then and as she's complaining to the office, like the building security, the guy, well, he did what he wanted to do.
He fell.
Yeah.
He tumbled. He took a tussle and fell onto a car. Which is just a shock, because she was mid being complaining and then kaboom,
and bam.
Yeah. Happy New Year, by the way, to everybody, DK and all the rest of you. So that whole fight scene where he steals the cigarette from these, it's a gang.
Oh, I love that
gang.
he didn't actually understand that. What was the term? Was it fuckface?
Yeah,
because it actually
because
like
TV you're
TV
not allowed
doesn't
to
teach
swear.
you curse words. I was like, I didn't know that one because TV doesn't teach you curse words.
And
Great.
he's like, can I put to use the stuff that I just trained
for fighting?
And he kind of does it.
And he kind of does. Well, he kind of beats the shit out of all those kids.
Yeah. Which actually does, again, show you, not tell you, because you're not sure. Wait a minute. He's been incarcerated for 15 years. Can he deal with them physically? And this is the scene where, yes, he can deal with some crazy odds because he's on this mission. That
also sorry,
revenge.
Just as an aside, as a little bit of a rollback, when he's in the elevator going down from meeting the suicidal man with the woman in the elevator, he has a human woman, and he's backing up in a corner because he doesn't know how to contain himself, because again, he's been alone by himself for 15 years.
Yes.
So
and I wanted to talk about it when we talk. Never mind. So he goes into the sushi restaurant and he has the interaction. And I watched this with
before the sushi restaurant. He is kneeling down and he's looking at just an aquarium tank, and he sees the fish in there. And the random stranger comes up and gives him the wallet and the cell phone. Yeah. It's important because it's the whole setup of how the triggers that come later.
Okay, I guess it's the fact that he noticed the stranger just because he smelled foul.
Yeah.
The whole point he's there.
And the stranger too, he didn't know a thing. He got paid to just give this guy this, and that's it.
Yeah, and to be fair, everything that has to do with Dae-soo all around him is controlled by money. Everybody moves around him, talking to him, interacting with him, all because they're motivated by money. Everything. And he doesn't actually realize that until sort of the very end.
Yeah.
Where everything kind of smashes into pieces, including the guy who loses his hand.
Yeah, Park. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's so interesting too is how Woo Jin, that's the reason why he had the most power, because he had the most money. And if you know anything about South Korean culture, money talks. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, it's a very class system-y. Also, just like in Japan, in a way, Japan is not
as bad as South Korea.
Yeah, South Korea is very much like that. And it would have been North Korea too. However.
Yeah, well.
However.
There was a little war about that.
Yeah. So at this point, he's being activated. We get to find out later how that activation actually works. But it feels like in the moment, it actually felt like the activation was through the phone of what he was being told.
which
and
part
then
of it
later
was,
on revealed to be, it's sort of like in tandem with both of you, where we controlled everything.
Yeah.
Everything about this encounter is controlled, but you, at the moment when you see it, like I said, on the surface level, there is no, it seems like it's odd, but you don't know where to put your finger on the pulse of what's going on. And that was very interesting because, like I said, it keeps you guessing all throughout this sort of a mystery that is unfolding in front of your eyes.
Yeah.
So he eats a live octopus, like you mentioned before, and he passes out. Not really chokes, but passes out. And this woman who they already had that interaction where she told him, "You look familiar. Sort of like
I
I'm
know you from
into
someplace.
I
and
know
also,
you from somewhere.
And
your hair doesn't look right, though."
well, then also Daisu says, "Well, I know you from somewhere too," and it was like up and coming chefs. It was like she was actually on a show
that he
watched because it was forced, obviously, onto his TV during his imprisonment. So,
and then she goes to the kitchen, picks up a knife, and tells him the bathroom door is broken and it doesn't have a lock.
Okay.
So
before this, I do have a very funny note.
Okay.
Well, first off, she's just openly reading his fucking diaries like it's not a big deal. I'm like, girl. Come on. And she's crying about it. But when he goes to grab the diaries, he turns to move back and he slams his head on the little table before rolling back on his bed.
Was that real?
Yeah, that was real. That was an accident. And it was because Park found it so completely genuine that he's authentic as an utter accident. And the fact that you have to give credit to Kang Hye-jung, who plays Mido. She didn't laugh at all.
Oh, okay.
Or say like, "Are you okay?" or anything. Just
I was waiting with this comment until a little bit later, but I thought it was interesting. A pun intended. Oldboy's nails the creativity. Someone who can use a claw hammer as a fight equalizer. Yeah. The whole point of it all, that people there have knives, have bats, all that stuff, and he has a hammer, and he uses it to claw out someone's teeth.
Park's teeth, yeah. We're gonna get to that. It's a rough scene.
So the whole point of what I'm mentioning the broken door is she's mentioning a broken door, and I was like, okay, she doesn't really trust him.
Yeah.
But isn't it weird that she trusted him enough to bring him into her apartment? And now she doesn't trust him when she goes to... I thought she was going to shower, so she's naked, but she went to the bathroom, which is, okay, she's naked as well, too, but not really.
Yeah. But also the fact that, like, did you notice the fact that the purple velvet wrapped gift that was the diaries that were at her door so she could read them?
No, I didn't.
Because it's setting up everything.
Yeah, I guess so, but I didn't notice it at the time. Yeah. I didn't notice. I think that was the first gift, and the second gift was the one that was like, okay, look, there's a purple gift here.
Yeah,
because it's sort of advancing the plot in a way. So he kind of attacks her because he is horny as hell, but he is also, he can't perform even though he's backed up for like 15 years. Yeah. And I told my wife, we watched it together. It's like, I think I don't know, and we talked about this when in the lovemaking scene. I don't know. Well, as soon as she would get undressed, the guy would have just went off.
I would
the
have
first time.
thought so. Yeah.
But then it went like Uno reversal that he just could keep going and going and going and going and going rather than just.
So essentially, so if you think about it, so technically he was doing Sting's tantra exercises for 15 years. He was literally edging for 15 years.
Yes. Technically he was, because there's a moment there where you can see him doing the act.
Because he does it when the song ends. He goes, but it's always too short.
Yeah, it's too short.
Yeah.
And I was like, do you think after few days, not months, days, you would have gotten off and just finish just to, quiet the mind. We'll call it that way.
Also, like, what else are you going to do? I mean,
All right, let's advance the story because we're gonna talk about this for like 27 hours.
Very, very bad place.
All right. So what they come up with, what he comes up with is, how do I find the building in which I was kept? How do I do that? Well, that's easy.
Which, just as a quick aside, right before then, he actually has Mido wear a different wig to look into a location, some locator, to try to find his daughter. That's where he gets the number for Stockholm there. Yeah. But he says, like, don't you want to call her? Don't you want to go to the grave of your wife? And he goes, well, not yet, not until they kill the bastard. Then it's moving there. Where when you think about it, though, it's all just a setup by Woo Jin because she never left the country.
Yeah, I know. It's a misdirection. But
yeah,
like I said, if I have never seen the American Oldboy, I would have never thought about it. And it's a complete misdirection. She is not here. She's an orphan. They send her off to Stockholm. What it does, it
clears the path for the character to actually enact his revenge. So he doesn't actually try to reestablish his relationship with his daughter. No. He has to figure out what happened to him.
I was going to say there are no ties to the past anymore, because it's so far away, it's not even possible to do. So we're just going to keep on through this revenge path. But yeah, that's exactly what you said. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. Then the entire setup of them going to all the different restaurants, trying all the different dumplings in order to try to figure out which one they were from. Because again, that's all he ate for 15 years were fried dumplings.
And he even says it in his inner monologue. And that's weird because he said it towards the end of that search where I was like, I've ate this for 15 years. I know exactly
how it tastes. I will never forget the taste of that.
Yeah, I will never forget the taste. And to be fair, we have a similar food thing with my wife's father. And I said it to her when we watched this. I'm sorry. We had an experience. We'll call it that.
Yeah,
her father was stationed during one of the wars. He was stationed away for about a couple of months. All they ate was rations. There was basically Spam, the Israeli version of Spam. Corn, canned corn, and canned tuna. He doesn't eat canned tuna. He ate the Spam and the canned corn. He cannot eat corn of any kind whatsoever. He just does not touch corn at all because he ate it every single day, 3 times a day.
Jesus.
Yeah, that's just 2 months, not 15 years.
I could, to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised. Like, again, he does end up vomiting, but I think that's because he ate so much of them to try to keep going so he could keep trying to taste him. But
I think
if I were in his shoes, I mean, like I couldn't even, once I would taste it, I would immediately gag.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think it was ambiguous on why he was vomiting. because it could be like, oh, I'm eating too much of these, so I'm vomiting, but I'm also going to a ton of restaurants, and at the end of the day, there's so much you can take until you just get it out.
Yeah.
Or some of it actually, as a dumpling, it's not the same taste, but it's dumplings again.
Still, yeah.
On the outside, when he was forced to do it for 50 years on the side. So it's on the same level, but not really.
I still also his own like internal monologue, the condescending remark. She didn't even give me a chance to taste it. When she asked for, is that it on the first one? Like, I haven't even taken a bite.
So when he gets to, let's say, the holding facility.
Now, what's interesting too is right here, he has the flashback again of, well, most importantly, the one time, which obviously was a clear setup by Woo Jin, that he kept the little actual like little bit of the blue dragon in there. So he would actually be able to circle it back. But he ends up leaving Mi-do behind because he thinks that she's in on it. So he goes off on his own and he takes that, rips the page out of the phone book.
Yeah.
And yeah, so we get to this.
We get to this, and this was quite unnerving because, first of all, the fact that there's a facility that holds other people because of reasons, and
also the fact that Park has his own scruples about setting up where it's like, oh yeah, by the way, we have our own limitations. Like if they have bodyguards, we don't do that, but we'll do it ourselves. Again, right there. If they are small fries, and if you want them held for more than 6 months, we take the kidnapping. It's gratis.
Yeah, and that whole idea was, I thought for a split second, they're all prisoners for the rich guy, Ji-doon.
Yeah.
I thought for a split second that they were all his prisoners, and he's playing a multiple faceted game here. But then it kind of fleeted over because Park is a gun for hire. So that whole facility is a separate thing. He was just there. Dae-soo was there because he was paid to be there. And he's the longest running occupant there. All the rest of them are a few months, a few weeks, and all that stuff. But yeah.
Well, we don't know because again, he says that if it's over 6 months, the kidnapping's free. So, don't know.
So the hallway scene, anything to add? Because there is a very elaborate action scene where, and I like the fact that you have a corridor view on the one hand, and I will switch over to the side view, which was definitely not done in a corridor.
No.
And yes, I know the knife is there and it's really weird.
Yeah, it looks... Well, I have to give the editor credit for having it look seamless, even though it looks fake as hell.
Yeah.
Like any single shot where you can actually see it, if you go frame by frame, where he turns and it's gone, but when you can actually see his back, it's there. So the editor did amazing work at keeping that fake thing floating there.
And I will have to give an extra prop for the Captain America elevator scene. Yes, I brought out Captain America. He walked, he kind of, the doors open. He cleared that entire corridor. Then the doors open. There's another 6 guys in there. And then it's all about the editing. And then it cuts to, it opens down below where everybody falls out. And you know there was a massive fight over there. Whether it was shot or not is, I don't know if they shot this.
They did not shoot
they were
it
crazy
because it was supposed to be this one big thing. And at the end, again, he walks out with the hammer that he walked in with.
Yes, which was missing when he walked in, because I haven't seen it.
No. So, but I wanted to roll back just a little bit because there's a lot of kind of karmic justice and a little bit of payoffs of, again, with Daisu's punishment at the end where he talked too much and everything, and the same thing that happened with Park, where Woo Jin cut his hand off later because he gave up information.
Yep.
Even though he was kind of hoping that Daesu would get the information anyway in order to find him.
I think he punished him because he got information out, but he knew the information would have got out anyway. No, not anyway. He kind of counted on the fact that someone from Park's people or Park himself would have divulged that information regardless.
It just
so
happened
he was
to
prepared to do that regardless.
Well, then also he did pay off his hand by buying him the entire building, his entire prison. But that's later. So we have the entire fight, the corridor scene, which is by far, again, it's in the scheme of revenge horror films. Well, not really horror, but kind of thriller films. It's up there. And the other one, obviously, is the entire house scene in I Saw the Devil. The house of the cannibal scene, because that scene's so fucking good.
Yeah. I remember. We kind of skipped the fact that he did take tapes from Park's desk or his filing cabinet.
Because he got, that's where he got the information. Because like I never saw his face, but I did record the phone call. Yeah.
And he's listening to it, and then he reunites with his pal, his buddy,
Mido. Oh, and Ju Huang,
Ju Huang,
which is so great too, because that would be the same thing. Like if you disappeared for 15 years and you walked into where I work, dude, I'd be in tears and like, get over here, buddy.
Yeah, for sure. I kind of happened in 2022, but we'll leave that aside.
A little bit. Yeah.
A little bit. Yeah, it's a personal thing.
Yeah.
The fact that there was a moment we kind of skipped over where she was doing a live chat with a video where she's trying to get information, and Daesu was like, "Who is this guy?
Who's Evergreen?"
It's like, "Oh, I've been talking to him the whole time." It's like,
because I talked to him about sushi online.
Yeah,
she's a sushi chef, so it didn't seem out of place. And so, except for when when Evergreen starts directly talking about Daesu and what he needs to do next, it's like, oh well, shit, never mind.
Yeah. But the thing is, it kind of leads into the first encounter.
Yes.
Again, the names are beyond me. You've got them.
So the guy with white hair, that's Mr. Han.
Mr. Han, yeah.
Yeah. So our main antagonist that's Woo Jin.
And he kind of he half explains it, but not. This is the moment where he gives them the ultimatum of the July 5th, and he tells them, "Look, you want to kill me. We get it. Fine. However, if you kill me, you won't know why you were in prison for 15 years."
Well, and also we're gonna kill me though. We're gonna kill her.
Yeah, we're gonna kill her.
And you have until January the 5th to figure out why I did this, or we're gonna kill her anyway.
I love this whole thing where he explains how if you have a revenge thing going, once the revenge is done, what is the next thing? Because I think he said you close the door on the revenge, and then you're left with what? He kind of describes the whole hollow feeling of
hollowness,
Where what else is
you're going to feel fulfilled, but how long will it be until that emptiness comes back? Knock, knock, knock.
Yeah, and it so drives that point of, okay, when the revenge is done, what happens next? And none of us have that answer because how do you keep going with your life? Because you had a very unique experience to get to that revenge moment. He incarcerated you for 15 years. That's why you want to kill him. Okay, that's a very simple revenge motive. Okay, what's next? How do you heal? How do you really heal from this thing that you've gone through? One of it is making an excuse for it, or finding a reason why it happened, which what actually drives your revenge. And if you don't get that, that feels an empty space in your heart.
Correct.
But the first thing he does is going to save the woman.
Well, because he says as he leaves, by the way, you left your door unlocked.
Yeah.
So it's, well, yeah. Be careful where you scroll forward. Right here.
Oh yeah. There's
just
nudity
FYI.
here.
Yeah.
I'm being very careful. Don't worry. Don't worry.
Just saying.
There's that moment where Park opens his mouth and he kind of looks like he was yanking one tooth, but he's like, I pulled your leg.
But he said, well, cowardice is the invention of the intelligent. What are you planning to do? And he just starts laughing as he's trying to reach for the knife that he has in his back pocket.
Yeah. But then Mr. Han walks through the door with a case of money.
It was like,
yeah, and was like, just leave him alone. Sort of. It's implied. He doesn't even say anything.
Yeah.
They're like gesturing to each other. And then, of course, Park has the last laugh where he used the bat to bash him over the back.
Yeah, but also there was a line where Dae-soo gets up and goes like, "I'll cut your hand off if you touched Mido's breast."
Yes.
And well, she gets it as a gift later.
Which, to be fair, the moment you see that the hand, Park's hand, you're like, so
well, it was a hand.
The only reason
why you knew that was because of the ring.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But the whole point is, like, when they recognize it's Park's hand, he doesn't mention that whole conversation again. He realizes he was been listening to the whole time.
Yeah,
and then they go off and try to find that tracker.
Get the shoe debugged.
Yeah.
What's great too is just about the setup there is, again, as you mentioned, Park is an ancillary antagonist, but he's also just the most quintessential, again, as you said, gun for hire. Because literally, like, obviously, if someone ripped, I think it was 15 of my teeth out, I would kind of want to get him.
Oh, and kind of want to kill that guy.
Just a little bit.
He also, the fact that he also give him a card is like, oh, this is the, like,
dentist.
If you need a good dentist, this is a card, which
is supposed to be, again, because if you see it the way that it plays off, because it's perfect, because Woo Jin is setting him to go to the dentist to find who Park is and where Park is in order to keep Mido safe later, because he's assuming that Park wants revenge on Woo Jin for cutting his hand off. It's like, man, Woo Jin played everybody in this like a fucking fiddle, and it's wow,
it's
so good.
It's all being sort of a puppeteer kind of a thing. Now, the thing is, there's a lot of movie left. So we're going to play our second game of the night. It's going to be a little bit shorter than usual. We might go over the 2 hours, but we'll see. All right, let's go. It is called Screen Fighter.
Round 1, fight.
Screen Fighter is where we take two movies, pit them together, and see which one is the best one. If there's no discernible difference between the two, both of them are good or both of them are bad, we fall into our criteria, which is Saturday evening, Friday evening, out with the boys, out with the girls, out with your significant other. Two movies in a vacuum. Which one will we pop in? And we open up with the greatest year in movie history, 1984.
Yeah.
Red Dawn or A Nightmare on Elm Street. Chat, cast your votes.
This
Please.
is too easy, man. It's A Nightmare on Elm Street. Even though technically Black Christmas beat it one year.
What do you mean Black Christmas?
No, not Black Christmas. No, sorry. Oh my God. No.
Silent Night?
Silent Night, Deadly Night. Yeah.
That was 85, I think.
No, it came out
83?
the weekend before.
Oh,
and
yeah. It was the same year, a weekend.
On its same release, though, it did beat it. Yeah.
It beat it in the box office for that weekend.
Yes, I know, but still.
Chat is split, so I'll be the decisive vote.
Well, I mean, come on. It's also the film premiere of Mr. Johnny Depp.
Also the film premiere of one of the greatest horror characters
of all time
in movie history.
Come on. Robert Englund. I'm sorry, buddy. I can't take you seriously in another role.
Freddy. Django Unchained or Superman 2.
Which we covered Superman 2 many
We
moons
should,
ago.
but we haven't.
Was it Superman the movie that we covered?
We did cover Superman.
I thought it was Superman.
And in
2.
Superman 2, we need to cover like the regular cut or the Donner cut. It's
because I thought we did the Donner cut of Superman 2 because it was
we mentioned the fact that there's a Donner cut in Superman 1.
Okay. Well,
so Superman 2 or Django.
As we discussed about Django still has some good moments in it, but wow, holy shit, does that film chew scenery for way too fucking long. Superman 2.
Superman 2. It was easy.
I'm not saying Django's a bad movie either. It's
perfect. Blade Runner or Die Hard with a Vengeance. That's Die Hard 3.
That's a really good one. That's a Jeremy Irons, Samuel Jackson one.
Yes. That's Jesus. No, Zeus. Zeus. Like I'll throw a lightning bolt up your ass. Zeus.
What are you doing wearing that side? They're gonna kill you out here.
Well, chat says Die Hard.
God damn. That's a difficult one.
I'll start. I'm gonna pick Die Hard just because of recency bias with Ridley Scott and how I'm going back with his movies in history. And he is not a great storyteller. He's a great visual artist in terms of vision of how things look. Because Blade Runner is amazing looking. Yeah. Story-wise, if you're a fan of Philip K. Dick, definitely you can see why he was annoyed by this movie.
Yeah. I would have to say, again, I'm going to go with criteria. Criteria-based only. If it's on, flip through the channels, it's on randomly, Die Hard. Yeah.
They're both great movies.
This one's way too fucking easy.
Anchorman or Father of the Bride?
60% of the time, it works every time.
60% of the time, it works every time.
I own many novels.
Okay, that's not fair.
It's Fight Club, yeah. Oh God.
I'm not even.
That was actually
last one.
I would rather do a reroll on this one, to be honest.
Why?
Because I don't really care for either.
That's perfect. Okay, MASH the movie, not the TV series.
Yes.
Or Inner Space.
Obviously, I would go with Inner Space because I really didn't like the initial MASH. I really didn't care for it.
Fine, another one. See what you made me do?
See, now this is fun.
Okay. Superbad or Land of the Dead? Paul, are you kidding me? You haven't seen Inner Space? Dude.
What? Okay. Okay. Mod privilege is revoked.
No. Relax. It's not like he hasn't seen like The Lord of the Rings. It's just Inner Space. but it's a great fucking movie. It's one of Dennis Quaid's best movies.
Come on.
All right, cool. Shoot me up.
This is kind of a difficult one. You know why?
Because no, I don't.
I love the actual reimagining of Land of the Dead, because Land of the Dead brought in a new concept that was very interesting for George A. Romero, where the actual zombies gained sentience, and they were able to actually end up fighting back. And also, John Leguizamo has a really funny death in it, and it's really, really funny. Also, Kevin Smith is in it. This is before Kevin Smith was bad. And also, the guy who plays Jay from Jay and Silent Bob.
Jason Mewes?
Yeah, he was in it too.
Okay.
And also, you know who else was in that?
I don't know.
The godfather of practical effects.
Tom Savini?
Tom Savini was a zombie in it.
Fine. You know what? I'll give it to Land of the Dead. I don't like zombie movies.
And so it's okay. Don't. I would actually would have picked Superbad over that, but anyway. I was just making a case for Land of the Dead.
Fine.
Land of the Dead was really funny and interesting the way that they pulled that off. But anyway.
Okay. I'm sorry.
There was actually a point where the zombies realized who the bad humans were and the good humans were, and they let the good humans go because they're like, nah, we're gonna fuck up these guys. You guys can rock and roll out of here.
Okay. This is a safe picture. Safe. There's no nudity here.
Yeah.
But I love the fact that they have this sex scene, and they fall asleep, and they pump the same gas.
The Valium gas, yeah.
Yeah.
What's important too is before that too, Mito had mentioned the fact that if I sing that song that you mentioned in your journals, that's when it's go time. No matter what I say, it's go time. And she's crying in the car, and she sings the song where it's like, and they go to a love hotel, and
that whole scene was like, this is why people like or dislike Korean or Japanese porn, because of how the women groan in those movies.
It's very off-putting.
Like it, yeah, you either like it or dislike it. I'm not a fond of that groaning.
Nope.
Or moaning, we'll call it that. I'm not a fan. I'm a fan of naked ladies, but I'm not a fan of that type of groaning. I just don't. It's too kiddie for me. Sorry. Personal preference, I guess. If you like it, you like it. It's, there's all the array. The one thing about the bug thing, and I'll keep going, is the fact that he takes off the bug, but when you see the control pad, it has like 16 or 17 different bugs, and when he takes out one of them, the light kind of turns off, and you're like, okay, they can still track them, but they think they're not tracked, and that's anymore. The whole bit in it. And after that point, you don't really see any moments where you can hear them being tracked, although there are moments that they are up until this point. I found that interesting because they went to that station because they kind of knew there's a gift in their hotel room that came out of nowhere, and he figures out, he's tracking us. Obviously, he's tracking us. But this kind of leads him to the whole school thing. Where I found very interesting that he kind of finds it really fast, but they give the excuse of, no, his friend is there to help him out, because they keep finding addresses and all that, the different connections.
Evergreen, because Evergreen Boys, because that was what they called themselves, the boys that graduated from that school.
Yeah.
So it made sense because Ju-hwan, who worked at the internet cafe, still actually graduated from that school with Woo Jin.
Yeah.
Because Woo Jin still went to school there. So kind of tied them all together there.
I
And
like
the fact that also the major connection between all of them was also the fact that Sua went there as well.
Yeah.
And it's where it starts to click.
I like the way he kills him though. He takes
Breaks,
out the disc,
snaps
he breaks it,
CD
and
in.
It was probably
Yerks him with a CD.
it was probably Last of Us 2. And he was annoyed about that game as well. I'm sorry.
Well, to be fair, that game was toxic.
Whatever. It was a joke. I just remembered there. I'm saying that because I remembered there was a Korean streamer that played the game, finished it, took the disc out, and broke it.
Snap it. Yeah.
Yeah. Very,
to be
very,
fair,
very well.
I really agree with that streamer because I'm sorry, Last of Us 2 was shit. It was bad. It was awful.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Anyway, I'm mentioning The Last of Us because of, like I said, I have had a few notes of this. I didn't see it when I was watching the movie, but after reading the note, I was like, oh, that's very interesting. What are 2 games that are on those screens while they're doing this entire scene? Do you know?
Counter-Strike was one of them because you can actually hear the sound of one of the guns in the game.
Then that's a new thing for me. One of them is Half-Life.
Half-Life, yeah, is the other one, yeah.
The other one is StarCraft.
Yeah, wow. South Koreans playing StarCraft. Ooh, what a surprise.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Exactly what I was thinking.
Audience, if you don't know, South Koreans are very, 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 very good at StarCraft.
They're also good at Counter-Strike, but we'll put that aside. So the actor playing
Woo Jin, he learned how to do yoga for this role. Yeah.
Yeah, that was another one of my notes, is the fact that he learned to do yoga. He didn't know how to do yoga, and he was really good at it, apparently. He seems convincing to me, but we're going to move a little bit forward.
So he got to Joel's death scene and then he just noped the fuck out. Okay. Then I give more respect to that streamer.
Yeah. I want to get to. Wait, where is it? He goes. Sorry, I got lost for a second. They went to the dentist, and through the dentist, they actually circle back around to Park, right? Because in the hotel room, the gift was Park's hand, which they didn't take because we later learned that, yeah, he kind of the hand kind of rotted away, but they did take the ring because the dentist leads them to back around to Park, and they have that conversation where he is being sort of going back. He goes back to the prison, basically, essentially.
Because what he's thinking again is the fact that, well, this man took your hand to give to us. I'm giving you back your ring. Help us take him down.
Yeah.
Again, the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
And he even says it as well. It's so strange that it's supposed to be in the same room, but they're refurbishing it for some reason. I didn't get it if it was the same room or some other room.
I would have to assume that all of the rooms look the exact same. It's not the same room.
Yeah, I should have realized the knuckles are pretty acute right there, but I didn't notice it because I was actually looking at the ring rather than his hand. Yeah. For some reason. That's what I remember. But yeah, it was there the whole time. The fact that his knuckles are pretty shot because he was training.
Busted. Well, because he's punching a brick wall.
And that whole conversation actually, does he leave her there? Yeah, he does leave her there.
Yes,
right?
Because the concept is that Park is going to keep her safe until Dae-sung can take care of Woo Jin, and that's going to be it. He's actually going to then at the end basically save Park from any kind of future wrath from Woo Jin going forward ever. So he wins out, and when he gets back, well, Mi-do is safe. So it's a tit for tat.
Yeah. So he gets to this lady who kind of get the ball rolling because she was at that school, and she tells him about this girl who committed suicide. They found her body a week later. And he doesn't really remember her. And his friend actually in that coffee shop, he tells him, yeah, this girl was dead, and she was a slut,
cafe.
but I didn't.
Like, she was a nice girl, but she was a total whore on the inside. Where I'm like, dude, come on.
And she's kind of confirming that whole bit of her
that
being
also,
a slut.
Also, Ji Hwan did not think that she had killed herself, that she had fallen into the river and drowned, because no one knew that she had killed herself except for Woo Jin. Woo Jin was the only one who knew that she actually did commit suicide. So
and this kind of leads into this flashback where he is sort of a participant in the flashback itself. Yeah. And I thought it was visually very interesting, where he doesn't just go into the flashback. Okay, he looks at himself, he remembers the conversations that he had.
No, see, but what's fantastic is the way that it's played off with the exact same names of all of the people involved. Because the hairstylist says that it was Woo Chin was the girl that she called. Woo Chin was dating his friend Ju Hwan, and he told Ju Hwan what happened here, but he said, "Don't tell anyone about it. It was just really weird. But seriously, don't tell anyone about it."
Yeah.
If anything, what happened to Ju Hwan afterward, when Woo Jin killed him with a CD, kind of made more sense, because Ju Hwan was the real culprit here.
Sort of.
Because Dae-soo told his buddy about it as kind of like a parting kind of story. Like, yeah, dude, I saw some fucked up shit today. And by the way, I'm going to Seoul. I'll see you later. Bye.
Now, one thing about this whole ordeal that he saw, he didn't actually see them having sex.
No.
She was more like mothering him rather than having sex with him, which was odd. Because
it was kind of on the cards because he took her panties off first.
Yes, but she says no when he goes for the kill. Not kill, but he goes for the thing. And then he's like, we'll start easy. How about you suck on this tit, though, while I watch you through a mirror?
Why watch you do it? Because, to be fair, the family's all kind of fucked up, too, because Woo Jin says later, Sua and I knew that we loved each other, and that's what it was. Can you deal with that fact now? And then, then after that, he realized that he couldn't save his sister, and he blew his brains out. But yeah, that's later.
So the whole point is Dae-soo kind of realizes, okay, this is what happened, is because he tells him, you're here because you're a blabbermouth. Yeah. And he kind of, through that flashback, realizes, I kind of helped started that rumor that everybody knew she was a whore, or so that's what he thought. Kind of realized something else happened,
something else entirely.
But he doesn't realize. It seems like he didn't realize the entire picture until the very, very end. Well, that too, everything kind of clicked.
Well, that and also, in a way, I feel that if you were that age, where you're 15, 16, 17 years old, you see some dude fucking a girl in your grade, and he didn't even know it was Woo Jin. He didn't know. He didn't know that it was brother and sister. No, he just is like, ha, I saw Soo Won like probably getting plowed. So like, I mean, that just seems like a juicy little bit of gossip. I mean, wouldn't you think that 99% of teens would have told their friend about it? Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like the thing to sort of say. I don't think he purposefully started a rumor.
I don't think there was any malicious intent. No, he told his friend about it. In fact, if anything, it was
the friend. Yeah,
it was Ju Huang and it was Chu Hing, who was the girl that was on the phone with the hairstylist. They started the rumor after Dae-soo had left to go to school in Seoul.
Yeah, I think so. That and that's the whole point is the rich guy, this guy,
Woo Jin,
he has a grudge over Dae-soo because of what happened with his sister. But he put the blame on the wrong person, and the person he actually should have killed or done it to, he actually killed.
Did, yeah.
Without actually knowing, which
I still have a feeling that he was
poetic.
going. I think that he was still going to actually end up killing Ju Huang at some point in time. Like he was just like further down his list.
I just don't know. And the thing about this is that whole point of him, Dae-soo, telling this story of this revelation.
Oh, well, as an aside though, we have to go just a little bit back. When he actually goes to the penthouse, obviously it's like, oh, where he's gonna be? He's gonna be in the penthouse. The password, 0604. It's a mistake.
Okay, what was the mistake?
Because the director meant Proverbs 6:5, not 6:4. But he had a mistranslation of the verse that he wanted to use. So he used 6:4 in order for not only the address, but also the floor code in order to get into the penthouse.
Okay. I missed that completely, but
yeah.
Okay. I thought 6:4 was the thing, but never mind.
Yeah.
No. It was so irrelevant to me at that point because he was trying to find the correct code. He couldn't find the right combination, but then the guy just walks in. With Mr.
Han walks in, just. Well, I would have thought too.
They go up.
Also, why wouldn't the code, instead of it being the Proverbs, but why wouldn't it have been 0705, the date of his sister's death?
Yeah, exactly.
That's one thing that kind of irked me about it when I was on a rewatch. I'm like, come on, man, it's right there.
And then, of course, after this whole spiel that Dae-soo goes through, where he is laying out what happened,
and he walks in with the broken toothbrush and just murks two dudes.
Yeah,
right off the bat.
he
murders two guys
with the broken
toothbrush.
It's there because the guy who was taking a shower in front of him, he had a massive cross as a.
Oh, with a tramp stamp.
Tramp stamp. I was going for tramp stamp.
Yeah.
Like a cross.
It was a little bit low because it's like, dude, that's how it right above your crack.
Yeah. So the brush wasn't a weapon of opportunity, but oh my God, he murked those two guys completely. But of course, stopped by Mr. Han. And then he tells him all about how deep the rabbit hole goes because
the entire bit of hypnosis and everything.
Yeah. We did get to see the hypnosis done on Dae-soo while he was imprisoned, but we don't know how the other side was with his daughter. And this is where the revelation comes in because Dae-soo kind of says, oh, look, that you've got an entire wall of your sister right here. And after he goes through that whole hypnosis revelation, he kind of points out the fact that, yeah, the room is filled with cameras, like old cameras.
Oh, as an aside too, there's one bit we kind of did cross over. The fact that Sua did kill herself because she had a false pregnancy.
Yes.
Yeah. She thought she was having her brother's baby, and yeah.
And that's why she killed herself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he points on Han, where I was thinking he's going to take out his eye with this fucking laser pointer.
That laser pointer, and the actor is Yusi Tae, who plays Wu Jin, the rich guy, and the way that the laser starts to jiggle back and forth, and he's giggling to himself, how he's so excited. He's a kid on Christmas.
Yeah. And Christmas is coming early because he's got one last gift to Dae-soo. Well, technically not a last gift, but one last gift. And what is that gift? He points out to the different cameras, and then he points out to the gift. And Dae-soo goes out, takes out the gift, and what is this? This is the missing photo album that was mentioned, the fact that there was nothing left in the apartment after he killed his wife, because the photo album is missing. And that's something that was set up earlier on. And I was like, I need to remember that.
There was one thing they did gloss over, because they did mention the fact that, Dae-soo, the statute of limitations for his murder charge have passed. I'm like, I thought murder never had a statute of limitations. Maybe it's different in Korea. I don't know. But anyway, that's why Dae-soo's able to run around freely like he is. But anyway.
So the whole point is that he turns the book, and it's his daughter when she was young, and then she gets older and older and older and older. And this is basically the later teenage daughter, and she already
looks like Mito. Yeah.
Yeah. And he kind of realizes, oh no. And then it cuts to her with her gift, and the gift was
the wings.
The gift that he was supposed to give her the day he was basically taken.
Yeah. Just as an aside for levity's sake, because this gets really, really dark real quick here. In the initial scene when Choi Min-sik was doing the little dance that he was doing with the wings on, he said, I was trying to do Michael Jackson's moonwalk.
Oh, no. No.
So, hey, just a bit of levity, because we're going straight dark from here.
Well, it's super dark. So he tries to assault the rich. I'm gonna say the rich
guy. Tries to go after Wu Jin.
But
Mr. Han stops it and just beats, like, judo throws the ever-loving fuck out of him about 10 times.
Yeah.
And then he stabs him in the ear with those antique scissors.
Yeah, but it goes deep.
Yeah.
Deep. And there was
clearly punctured his eardrum, because he can't hear.
A little bit more than the eardrum, I think. But of course, Wu Jin kind of finishes the job.
Yeah, because he's like, well, you can't kill him yet. You can't kill him yet. And he gave him that revolver in the elevator, so he just shoots him in the back of the head. There's a Derringer as well, right?
Yeah. And like I said, as soon as the first shot went out, I was like, I know how the American version ends, but this is not the same.
Nope,
so
it's not.
Really interested in how things are going. I think in the American version, he actually did have a kill switch. I don't remember I absolutely don't remember the ending. I know all the premise and all the discovery, and it's a different discovery altogether.
It's completely different. It's a very like understated version of the story, to the fact that it's like, hey, dum tapping on glass, are you paying attention? Because this is important.
So as soon as he got the first shot, I was thinking, okay, the next shot is going into Dae-soo because the guy has a kill switch, because I didn't know.
Yeah.
And as soon as Dae-soo clicked on the kill switch and nothing happened.
Okay, no,
I was
no,
like,
no, something does happen. Something very, very important happens. It's Woo Jin's final revenge is the kill switch. But we have to talk a little bit before about, because again, there's a lot of karmic justice and his own kind of penance here too. Because every single time Woo Jin here says it perfectly, like, I've been protecting her since she was 3 years old. I'm the one who basically raised her.
Yep.
I did all of this, and you took my sister from me. You took everything that I loved from me. So I turned this back on you. And so there's the threat of essentially, well, I have Mr. Park on the line. There's a box there, and the box is the other photo album that's going to reveal the fact, like, hey, you fucked your dad.
Yeah, exactly. And Dae-soo is begging him not to do this. So much so that he was like, I'm your dog.
I'm your dog.
I'll
Which,
do
by the
anything.
way, is the utmost insult for anyone who's Korean.
Yeah, I kind of got that.
Yeah.
He even barks and
wags his ass. Yeah.
Yeah, he wags his ass, and then he ends up licking his feet.
Yeah. And what's great too is how Woo Jin just is laughing throughout it, because the first time you watch the film, when he has the handkerchief up to his face,
it kind of looks like he's crying.
He's crying.
But he's actually
he's laughing. Yeah.
Yeah, I got that completely.
Which again is the entire bit of laugh and the whole world laughs with you, weep and you weep alone. It's shot so well.
It's called poetic justice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not the
like
terrible
that.
film starring Janet Jackson and Tupac.
Oh, stop. I'll show this for a second, but you don't actually see anything. It's just a little bit too much red. Yeah, but
so what he does as penance is he cuts his tongue off, because again, he said, well, you spoke too much. Well, I'll never speak again.
And he should have bled out.
He would have bled out. Yeah, there's
maybe not to death, but he would have.
You would have passed out, and then you would have bled to death, because there's no way you could have gotten out there alive. No, without help anyway.
Yeah, you need to sew that bitch up.
So
and putting a rag into your mouth does not stop it.
No.
But it's symbolic.
That's not a tourniquet. A rag is not a tourniquet for your tongue.
No, definitely not. But the fact that what he does is symbolically shutting him up because he's putting a rag in his mouth where he can't speak anymore. Technically, he can, but it's your tongue does matter when you speak. Just try to put your tongue at the back of your throat and try and talk. Doesn't happen.
But so we have that, and again, so Woo Jin accepts his penance, his payment for his crimes. So, and he deliberately drops the controller for his quote unquote pacemaker, and as he's walking away, Dae-soo goes to push the button, and the button does nothing except for plays the sounds of the sex tape between Mi-do and Dae-soo. So he's hearing him fuck his daughter as one final fuck you.
Yeah, kind of. It's like, oh, by the way, I just want to remind you, you fucked your daughter. Here's the
when he goes to the
tape.
No, that's when he goes to the elevator and says, well, again, at the end, Suwa and I found our love, even though it was troublesome we found it, that we accepted it. Can you do the same now?
And
he goes down the elevator, and as he goes down the elevator, he has the flashback to how he tried to save Suah, but Suah really wanted to die.
Yeah, she was adamant on dying. And to me, whoever did Infinity War with the Archer dude and Black Widow saw this and was inspired.
Yeah.
Because when you see that it's the same kind of imagery, it shot really the same in certain aspects.
And it's also a callback to the very beginning of the film with how Dae-soo saved the suicidal man as well. Yeah, it's
the same imagery of the guy holding really doesn't want to kill or let go of the one who wants to end his own life. I found that very, very interesting. And when he doesn't, he kind of like, he reconciles the fact that he will never, regardless of his own vengeance story, which took 15 years to culminate.
Oh, no. Again, no, he finally reconciles the fact that he understands that he was never actually able to really save her. So again, as you mentioned before, Meph, when Woo Jin was talking to Dae-soo back in the first time they met, where he said, like, how long will it be until the emptiness comes back? His vengeance is now fulfilled. He got his vengeance, so the hollowness comes back, and it's too much for him to bear, and bang.
Yeah. Sort of like it kind of twisted over on his, it twists over on his own head, where he told Dae-soo, when your vengeance is done, there's that hollowness, but he couldn't deal with it either because
by the way, I know this is a very, very fucked up thing to say, but it's probably one of the best gunshot suicide scenes I've ever seen shot.
Okay.
No, just the way, the actor doing full pratfall, where there's no affectation. No, it's literally just lights out, done.
It's not a Michael Bay death. It's just a death.
Yeah.
So one last thing to reconcile is the hypnosis thing.
Yeah.
And you could have ended the movie there, not like before this whole hypnosis thing.
No, but could have ended when Woo Jin shot himself in the head right there when he's laying there in the elevator, cut to black. That could have been the ending of the movie.
And if you know anything about Korean movies, that can be definitely an ending, and it'd be ambiguous, and like you would have been satisfied.
Sort of in a way, that's kind of what I Saw the Devil was. I Saw the Devil goes a little bit further and has the Oldboy-esque kind of ending where it is kind of ambiguous, but it's also like, yeah, our hero just became the monster that he just murdered. So,
and the whole point in this scene is to go back to the hypnotist, and he just wants to forget. And she tells him, well, you can do it, but not really. So what she does is she takes his personality, she splits it into two. One of them is unaware, and the other one is fully aware of the secret, but it still stays within you, but it slowly dies off.
It's regressed, yeah. It's regression therapy in a way. But what's interesting too about that is the fact that she calls him what people have been calling him and what he's called himself throughout the film in multiple different occasions.
The Beast.
The Monster.
The
monster. Yeah.
There we go. There. As he looks through the mirror, the monster will turn around and begin walking as it slowly walks.
And away. As he walks, he takes 1 year every step, and at 70 steps, he'll die and fade away forever.
Yeah, but Dae-soo will die before that because he's already a grown man. I think he's supposed to be above 50?
Has to be.
we'll say above.
Well, because he
50.
graduated high school in 1979, and this was made in 2002.
So yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, just the fact that he spent 15 years locked up.
That is a lot of psychological trauma. Not only that, but also physical trauma on your body.
And Mi-do comes in and she feels sorry for him, but she does recognize the fact that she is like, who was here with you? Because she sees the 2 chairs.
Yeah, because there's 2 chairs and there's 2 sets of footsteps.
Yeah. And that is basically the end.
And
where
no, the end shot, if you can, because before it fades to obviously the shot on the mountains, is the low pan of Choi Min-sik, his face here. Oh my god, it's so great because his smile, it slowly turns into a grimace.
I know, I can't really show it because
because it's almost as if there's a fragment of his memory that's still there.
There,
that he
it's
knows.
right at the end. It's
he
really
knows.
right at the end.
So it's again, it's still the opening is still utterly ambiguous. You have absolutely no idea how it all turns out. But
yeah, and to be fair, do you really want to know? Do you need a sequel for this?
No, and that's
You
the best thing
don't.
about it. No, there doesn't need to be a sequel. There didn't need to be an American adaptation. That's for goddamn sure, because they utterly ruined it. So,
and that's about it. I absolutely love this movie. I cannot wait. I cannot believe I waited this long to watch it. Today wasn't the first time I watched it. I watched it today with my wife. I watched this a few months back. I think I even told you this, that I've watched it. And
yeah,
you're
you
like,
told me
really?
this,
You
like,
watched it?
finally. I'm like, wow, took you that long?
But I told you I'm saving the conversation to talk to you about this because I watched it by myself. And like I said, one of the things that were like, really, I knew there was an American thing, but I forgot it's this.
Yeah.
The Josh Brolin movie, I don't even think when I saw the movie, I don't even think I knew the name of the movie.
Oh, wow, really? Yeah.
So when I saw this for the very first time and he was like locked up for a long time, I was like, oh, this is another year and another year. And I was like, wow, that seems very much like that Josh Brolin movie I've seen. And then, of course, Google search, I was like, oh, damn, he's going to fuck his daughter.
Yep.
But I was like, okay, so in the American version, I think she's like an ambulance woman, like a paramedic or something.
She works
at a shelter.
She's an EMT.
Something EMT was something like that. And when he was in the sushi place with the girl, I was like, I didn't even think about it. But then he woke up in her house and I was like, oh shit. Okay. Oh, okay. She's his daughter. Fuck.
Yeah.
It kind of ruined it for me. Like I said, it's a very weird thing where I didn't know. I knew there's an American version that sucked, but I thought, well, I don't think I've seen the American version. I'm going to see the original version. Then everything kind of clicked.
Yeah.
Then when I saw it today, I didn't say anything to the wife. As soon as he was locked up and she's like, wait a minute, we've seen this. It's like, yeah, there's an American version. You've seen it. I didn't even remember the name of him. And I said, it's Thanos and the witch girl having sex. And it's his daughter.
It's literally just called Oldboy. They just
called Oldboy. It's from 2013.
It's so fucking bad too.
Anyway, and the rich guy
Which is so odd too, because Josh Brolin was in another film that I wanted for my movie month too.
No Country for Old Men?
No.
What? Which one?
Una Panakeku.
No. What?
Joaquin Phoenix is in the movie. It's Inherent Vice. Inherent Vice is such a fun fucking movie that a lot of
Okay.
people really skipped on. It's so much fun. But
Fine. Okay. I'm surprised. That's all. Okay. That kind of ends everything up for this week. Now, next week is going to be fun because next week it's going to be a weird movie that we have talked about.
We're going really on the weird trail. And what's
Yeah.
funny too is we have 2 back-to-back films starring Mr. Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
What?
2 back-to-back.
A what?
Yeah.
Before he was Iron Man? A what?
Yeah, it's basically one of a trio of movies that kind of brought him to the Iron Man role.
Yes.
Slowly but surely, because it's
I
over
feel we
about
basically
3
gave
years.
pretty much Paul all the context clues he needs to guess most of the movies. Well, we're going to give next week's away, obviously. But
Okay. Next week, we are going to cover A Scanner Darkly. A weird movie, not just because of the subject matter of what's going on, but the very odd way in which it was shot. Presented, delivered, all that stuff.
The post-production work on that film was literally about 75% of its budget. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's really crazy. A Scanner Darkly. So go watch it. It's from 2006. I think you can get it free on Roku and Tubi. It's a very low budget, kind of an indie film.
But
So it's pretty much
again, we have Robert Jr., Keanu Reeves, Woody Harrelson,
Winona Ryder, Woody Harrelson. Yeah. So go watch it and come back to us next week when we'll talk about it. I don't think there's major spoilers in it, but I've seen it like very few times in my life.
There are major spoilers, but just because if you say like, oh, who was the cause of the drug?
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I remember.
That's the only spoiler. That's it.
Yeah, but it's mostly a movie for the. Go watch it. It's a very interesting movie if you haven't watched it, and it's a very interesting movie to rewatch. Like I said, I remember watching it. I don't remember all the details.
Interpretation of the concept of purgatory.
Yes. Yes.
I'm going to list out your sins starting at 10,001. Like, well, we're gonna be here for a while.
All right. So until next week, ladies and gentlemen, remember, hope is a good thing, maybe even the best of things, and no good thing ever dies. And yes, I'm fully aware that I still haven't recorded a new outro. It was supposed to be today, didn't happen because of reasons. So yeah, remember that, guys. See you later. You're still here? It's over. Go home.